It's refreshment time, folks.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. So, Spider-Man, No Way Home trailer dropped today, unexpectedly. How much did you sacrifice?
I sacrificed nothing, but I did watch.
What about your foreskin? Wasn't that sacrificed?
I mean, you could talk to the Moyle next door. I'm not sure what he did with it.
Okay, just had to make sure.
He probably ate it.
Because a lot of those were sacrificed for the making of this film, I think.
Anybody who's just tuning into this podcast channel for the first time is like, oh, Spider-Man trailer review. And then it's just circumcision weird talk about
That's what we do.
Minute.
Welcome to the show.
This is our channel. We're successful and normal, well-adjusted people who do not have a bunch of traumatic issues, and we are definitely trustable. You can trust us, and you should subscribe and like while you're here.
You can trust us for your source of entertainment. let's put it that way. You can trust us for entertainment. And
you can trust, like we're basically sitting here right now, like Jack Nicholson in Batman when he's playing Trust, tossing money around. But anyway, we're talking Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. No Way Home.
This morning, I saw that there was a leaked trailer for this movie, and that was kind of crazy.
I was busy working, so I didn't see shit or hear shit about this until Alec was like, hey, did you see the leaked trailer? And I was like, no. And then by the time that happened, we'd found out that Sony had released the real deal.
Yeah, so then we fucking watched that shit. And there's a lot to unpack. We're just going to kind of do a brief rundown. We're not going to do like a 30-minute fucking thing on a 3-minute trailer or anything for you, but we'll just point out some big key stuff, and we'll go through what we remember for it. We only watched it like 2 or 3 times. We had to record the podcast. We just recorded a regular episode before this.
Regular show.
Opens up, though, with them on the building, though. That's pretty cool.
MJ and Peter Parker hanging out, having
he's just talking about how he's kind of stressed, basically, with all this shit that's happening. People know who he is and everything.
Yeah, he doesn't like to be known.
They try to build you some background on what Peter's arc is going to be throughout this, basically, which is like...
You see him getting arrested. They're like, hey... he's like, I didn't kill Mysterio. The drones did. And like, those are your drones.
Right.
So obviously implying at some point in time that a lot of Stark Industries or Stark technology has been gifted to him completely, which kind of happened. Yeah,
they were all controlled by the glasses, which he gave to him in that. Remember?
Yeah. So
I've watched that one 100,000 times. So that's why I remember that. I'm pointing that out to you.
Well, good. So he's pissed about that, and then MJ asked if he's relieved at all because like she's like, well, everyone knows who you are. You don't have to lie or hide anymore. And he's like, well, I never liked lying to you. But I think, you do see that Peter Parker did like having that double life a little bit. He liked having some mystery to him.
Yeah.
And having that, so.
Yeah, you hear Jameson's voice again in there, and you see him swinging with MJ again through the city there. You see him being bombarded by people dressed as Spider-Man in public. You see the other students, like, fucking glaring at him and taking pictures of him and shit.
Yeah.
Like, people clearly are like, oh, this is cool. I know who Spider-Man is. But also there's people who are like, fuck Spider-Man. I hate this motherfucker. I'm going to kill this motherfucker.
Yeah, and then you get to see him go visit Mr. Doctor Strange.
And I don't know. This seems kind of out of character. That's the only thing I'm questioning. But maybe Doctor Strange is like, fuck it, I guess. But Doctor Strange is like, sure, I'll do this magic spell for you and undo the thing.
Yeah. The way he's so casual about it. Now, he does kind of have a funny line in there. He's like, you don't have to call me sir. We've saved half the world together. And he's like, okay, Steven. And then it's kind of one of those quick jokes. The first part of it's funnier than he's like, it feels weird, but I'll accept it.
Yeah.
Clearly doing that mentor role that Tony Stark did previously, but something about Doctor Strange does feel slightly off in this. Because even, what's his assistant's name? He walks out of the portal. Yeah, and he walks out of the portal and is like, yeah, don't do that. That's not a good idea.
Yeah. It's interesting. He could be a fucking Skrull?
Skrull? He could be a variant? Who knows what the fuck he is?
Yeah.
There's so many fucking options at this point in the MCU that...
Well, we are getting Secret Wars at some point, too, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, he's told not to cast that spell, and he says, yeah, whatever, I'll help him make you forget Spider-Man as Peter Parker. And then, obviously, as you start seeing some of this unwind, Peter loses his shit about having MJ and Ned and his aunt figuring out, like, who he is and losing that whole bit.
I don't know. This series has really won me over as a fan. I to the point where I genuinely care about like what's happening to Aunt May and Ned and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like MJ as a character too. Like I like
Yeah,
it has a really good, interesting world built already. So
and what's that going to do to those characters? So you truly understand why Peter's concerned about that, because then he's going to have this double life again and do all this other shit. So he's asking for something he hasn't really thought about.
So he basically then he goes to do the spell or whatever, and it's like this big intense scene, and there's like this big explosion thing around them, some rings and stuff. Sit down, booger. I gotta pet my dog while we talk about Spider-Man, which is a pretty cool combo if you ask me.
Yeah.
So that happens, and Peter's like, "What happened?" And then you get some like a bunch of different weird shots of like that look like the Doctor Strange movies of like the buildings warping and then like being like a black hole, what looks like a black hole, like sucking down the fucking city and stuff, and them falling into it. But it's clearly like a multiverse portal or something.
Yeah, and even Strange like has a line that he throws away, and there's like, yeah, we barely know anything about the multiverse.
Yeah,
and implying that he has some sort of inside information about it that we haven't really been revealed to yet.
Yeah, it's got me hyped for sure. There's that scene of like Spider-Man fighting somebody on like a fucking train that's like shooting through the sky. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, there's like 5 trains, and they're all like collapsing and rolling over each other there. So
I guess that's just like the Doctor Strange shit happening right there. But
or the multiverse collapsing onto each other or something. That somehow they're colliding there, right?
Yeah.
So
it's very interesting to see regardless. And then you get Peter's in like a suit or something, I think, and he's hanging out on what looks like a highway bridge or something before you see like a fucking pumpkin bomb roll up.
Yeah,
and then you hear the laughing.
Norman Osborn's laugh.
And then you also see a bunch of water rise up, and you see the fucking the metal octopus claws come out. Yeah. And you obviously get what's that actor's name?
Oh, I forget. I'm fucking terrible like that.
Yeah, I've never been super familiar with his name, so sorry, I apologize off the top of my head. But,
it's not a very generic name.
But it's either way, it's the guy from Spider-Man 2 who played Doc Ock, and it's Doc Ock. So at minimum, we're getting Doc Ock and Green Goblin, and then
he immediately recognizes Peter Parker, that version of him. Right now, that could be obviously with editing. That could be a number of things there. That could just be set up to look that way, but still very compelling.
Yeah, there's no way to know what exactly we're looking at. There's a cool bunch of different suits. I saw a black Spider-Man suit with gold detailing, which I've already seen the action figure of, so that's why I kind of was able to pick it out.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that one. I think that's when he's like running through what appears to be like a lunchroom or something like that.
Plus the Iron Spider outfit.
Yep, the Iron Spider's back.
Pretty fucking cool to see all this different stuff coming together.
There's just so many questions and so many things you can speculate on from this. Like Alec and I were talking and thinking like...
There's a brief minute where you see Happy Hogan in there too again, so he's back.
Yeah, and you see him like clearly in danger or something.
Which it's great to see him in these fucking movies because, obviously we don't have to point out to you that Jon Favreau directed the first fucking one of them all, Iron Man, and started this shit.
Well, and he's been such a good character in there too. Like for his role, he's been someone you really care about, even though he's like just a side character, just the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's great.
He's gone from being annoyed by Peter Parker to truly loving him like his own kid. So
I don't know if we got that vibe from the trailer.
But. No, but I meant from previously. So you see that obviously he's someone that Peter cares about now. So you see him in danger.
Peter, pumpkin eater.
Peter.
That's about all I have to say about that. It looks sick, though.
The only thing you could speculate on, and if you're following the MCU in all regards and watching everything on Disney Plus, that moment where the multiverse starts to collapse on itself or the spell goes wrong, like we've got everything that happened in Loki going on, we had everything that happened in WandaVision going on, so like these things could all be simultaneously happening, causing an event that's going to lead to the next Doctor Strange movie. But Doctor Strange clearly has a huge role in this film, so it's going to be wild. Very wild.
Justin's slurring a lot like he's been drinking and he hasn't.
No.
It's funny.
Exhausted.
Let us know what you think about this trailer, if you're stoked in the comments below, or if you're not, and why.
Yeah, if you hate Spider-Man, you don't like Spider-Man at all, put a note down there and tell me why.
Yeah.
If you love Alec and you want to marry him, put a note down there too.
I'm desperate.
He's a desperate housewife.
I'm alone. I have
I've
pornographic magazines, and
a little Fight Club reference for you
Exactly.
children out there in the audience.
I'm so close to dying, and all I want to do is get laid again. Get laid for the last time, I think that's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's all I have to say about it. So, like I said, comment below, like and subscribe, do all the things, promotional materials, Spider-Man.
Promote.
If you work for the marketing team at Sony and you're watching this, which you're not, but if you are, we want to sponsor.
We can stop this thing.
Yes, we will. You can sponsor us. You know,
And we'll stop doing
We'll
things
do
like this.
advertisements for Spider-Man and Ghostbusters, of course, and we won't. Because if you pay us, this sounds more like a ransom now. I'm like, if you pay us, I won't talk about Spider-Man's dick.
If you pay us money, we'll even talk about Venom.
Yeah,
Too.
only if you pay us money on that one, Hans. I gotta say.
That's what I was waiting for you to say at the last second. there.
Yeah, I gotta say.
All right,
You
kids.
pay me on that one.
That's that.
Peace out.